What's up? My name's Brian Head Welch from the bands Love and Death and Korn.
Wake up, sleepy, wide awake!
Love and Death is probably a mixture of just alternative music slash with like just heavy rock, some industrial type of vibes in there. When I left Korn in 2005, I was like, I want to do a solo album, so I started recording my album. It took like 3 years. I put it out in 2008. Brian Head Welch saved me from myself, and I hired these musicians to come and tour with me. I did YouTube auditions and everything, and I picked the ones that I thought would be a good vibe, and I hit the road, and some of them quit and some of them stuck with me. We became friends, and so I was like, you know what, let's do a new album, and let's get a band name and have this a group effort, and not just, I don't gotta do another solo album. Let's create a band and just start from there. We all agreed on Love and Death. We just thought it was like kind of deep and creepy sounding, Started touring with it and put out an EP last April, and our first full length came out in January 2013. You can totally tell the difference between my first solo album, which was all me, and the new Love and Death album, the creativity that others bring. And a big part of that was the producer, Jason Rao. He's the ex-guitar player of the band Red. We would bring him some cool riffs, and he'd be like, oh, that's cool. What if we try it like this? Immediately make it from sounding 90s to like 2013, just for little tweaks. It's like a painting, a different artist, and they just bring so much different color to it, My manager was worried about not having enough material for the EP, so he said, why don't you do a cover tune? Check out this song from The Used. They did Burning Down the House from Talking Heads, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And basically I just ripped off the idea. I brought Whip It to Jason Rao and my band. I said, Whip It, it to shade. It was like, it's so goofy. And so I brought my riff idea to Jason, a little slower and everything, and just like grooving. And he was like, he looked at me sideways and he was like, dude, I think this can work. It's one of the funnest songs live, I think. Yeah, our bass player Valentine, his face is always like got black stuff on it, and in some of the videos he had the contacts and stuff. His girlfriend was going to a makeup artist school, and some of the instructors worked on like horror movies and stuff, and one of the teachers was the one that created the Slipknot mask. She had all this cool makeup, she had the cool contacts and everything. Basically he was her guinea pig, and she'd take stuff home and work on him, and he took her ideas and brought it to stage and everything, and that's how kind of the rest of the band did that. I've always wanted to wear makeup. I wore makeup in Korn. I maybe got a little thicker, on my solo stuff, but I just like that look, I used to watch Friday the 13th, Halloween, all that stuff when I was a kid. Me and Monkey would just come up with those eerie sounds, you know what I mean? To me, it's just really intense music, and it makes you feel that seriousness, When I put out my solo album, like I had a song called Rebel on there, to mix the sound of just really intense, like minor notes with beautiful, like major melodies, and blend them together. It's just, to me, it sounds like just so crazy. My daughter sang on that song Rebel with another, like a kids choir. Na, 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 na. It was like a Sesame Street, same notes in Sesame Street, but the music was all like all creepy and Friday the 13th sounding. So that really gave us an influence, just that creepy sound and style throughout mine and Monkey's, and then extended to my solo stuff.
For a long ass time, this spot right here has been very lonely. My boy!
Me and my boys in Korn are getting back together for a tour, and we'll see what happens in the future. What happened was last May, I went to a festival that POD was playing. I jumped on their bus, slept on the couch, brought my daughter. We found out Korn is playing, Evanescence is playing, Five Finger Death Punch, Chevelle, like all these bigger bands. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna go in the crowd and watch Korn, because I always liked Korn, even if I wasn't in the band. I really liked it, I liked Jonathan, and the whole stage show, even if I wasn't in it. So I was like, I could enjoy it, I hung out with Monkey during the day, and I hadn't seen him in 7 years, so it was just really cool. And then 5 minutes before the show. I was like, hey, you guys tear it up, you know? And they're like, hey, Fieldy, the bass player, goes, hey, I'm just saying, there's a guitar all ready for you and an amp. And I was like, what? And he's like, come on, man. I was like, oh, I wasn't prepared for that. And he's like, you know the songs, quit being stupid, you know? And he tried to talk me into actually doing 4 songs at the end. No, I'll do Blind, no, I'll do 1. And so we just, we nailed it, you know, and it was so emotional, you know. The singer, Jonathan, started bawling, you know, at the end of it. He was just like, it was just like a restoration and a reconciliation that needed to happen. And you could feel it in the air. I'm telling you, like it exploded, and people were tweeting about it, and you know, let's do this. It's I feel like it's time. I'm so stoked to be able to hang out with them first as friends, you know, second to create music together. We were put on this earth to just be on stage together. So we'll see what happens. The Korn tour starts in Europe. We're gonna rock it, man, and that's going to be for a month. We'll see how it goes and see if something in the future for the States happens. You know, Love and Death is going to hit the road non-stop. This year is going to be booked. I'm basically, my goal is to pay rent and never be home. You know, when you're out on the road, you're making money and you're connecting with people and you're doing what you love to do. So I'm so thankful nowadays, you know, that I turned my life around from drugs and all that stuff, and I'm like, I really am thankful for what I get to do in life. It's really cool.